You're listening to the Weekend Sport Podcast with Jason Pine from News Talk ZB.
100 metres to go. Brooke Francis, Lucy Spoors. They've got their noses in front. Can they maintain the lead? Half a boat length. Francis, Spoors. Gold beckons for the New Zealand women's double sculls. Down to the line. It's gold. Gold for New Zealand. Brooke Francis, Lucy Spoors, Olympic champions. Magnificent from the New Zealand women's double sculls crew.
Outstanding call from Malcolm Jordan. Gold for Brooke Francis and Lucy Spoors in the women's double sculls. A silver and a bronze as well, as I say. We'll get to those in a sec. But after they won that gold medal, I spoke with Lucy Spoors to see how it felt to be an Olympic champion double sculler.
Oh, it feels unbelievable, and it's just slowly starting to sink in. I think when you're racing, you can only ever think so far ahead, and you're always sort of thinking about the moment and what's ahead of you for that day. So to be here now in New Zealand House celebrating with family and friends, it's sort of just starting to all set in.
It's been a journey, hasn't it? You know, I think a lot of people are becoming aware of your story after Tokyo, a way to start a family, back now, a couple of mums who are now gold medalists. How do you reflect on the last 3 years of your life?
Oh, I'm so proud, I guess, and I have taken some time today to sort of with Brooke reflect on, where we've come from and what it has taken, because I guess there was a point there where, yes, we had both just given birth, and I felt so far physically from where I needed to be as an Olympian, and also I was going through, such mental changes as a mother. It really changes who you are. So to gather it all together and to persevere when you know that you're, sort of scraping up the bottom of the Royal New Zealand team and you're not on form at all, it has taken a lot of patience, and I think a lot of courage from both of us, and I definitely couldn't have done it without Brooke, because to have someone who was, just 3 months ahead of me postpartum, and, to be able to have her to ask questions of and things like that, it's been, amazing and definitely a journey.
Did you always feel as though you would make it to Paris?
I think, if I'm honest, we both didn't return to sport without believing that we could be in Paris. The first thing I wanted to tick off was obviously qualifying the boat and getting here. But, we both had silver in Tokyo, and we both, I think, had a real drive to be here, not to just make up the numbers. So, I think there has been a deep belief throughout, even though from the outside it probably didn't really look like that for a really long time.
Well, let's look at this race. You were third at 1,000, then accelerated to take the lead from Romania around the 1,500 metre mark, and then they came at you at the end. Did the race go to plan? Is it what you planned?
We have a very set race plan for obviously different stages of the race, which I know like the back of my hand. But today, sort of the main goal was, we went out there thinking that we had to be brave. The Romanians have been unbelievably dominant for the last 3 years since Tokyo, and they're really dangerous, in that last 500, and going up beside them in that last 500 wasn't exactly where I would have said was the perfect place to be. But I also just back, Brooke so much, and I thought if we get our bow out, I reckon we're not going to give it up. And I kind of feel like that's exactly what we did. We just, once we got our bow out, we were just hanging on, and the rate was coming up and up. But I think we just knew we could hang in there.
I remember the men's double scullers, Joseph Sullivan, Nathan Cohen, winning gold in London in 2012, and from memory that was a sprint finish as well. Were you aware of that sort of finish that might be required to win gold in a regatta like this?
Yeah, and it's funny you say that, because we've actually told a lot of people that today, is that we'd talked about it if it came down to that, and we knew that the last couple of strokes would have to be punchy and really effective. And coming into the last 100, Brooke actually yelled Joe, and I knew exactly what that meant. I knew that the margin was super tight, and I mean, it was only sort of an hour ago that I actually looked at the times and realised how close it was.
That's amazing that you channeled those guys from 12 years ago to get you across the line. That's outstanding. Of course,
and I actually wrote nothing like Joe Sullivan. Like, he's a short, powerful guy. and I'm much longer, and I don't actually know that I'm capable of rowing like him, but it's what I was thinking about.
Oh, whatever it was, it worked. Of course, you won silver in the women's 8 back in Tokyo. How different has it been with Brooke, just the two of you, compared to a team of 8? Or 9, actually.
Yes, and I mean, the team of 8 was an amazing experience, and I wouldn't change it for the world because, those girls were absolutely, we're friends forever now. But to do this with Brooke, now that we've done it as 2 mums together, I can't imagine it working out so well if I was in a bigger boat with so many people having to make compromise. Just having us as a unit, I think all mothers know you've got to be flexible, and things are changing all the time, and the amount of times we've had to adapt and change things on the fly, it has been difficult and it hasn't been easy, and probably having just the two of us in the one boat has given us the ability to do that at the best of times.
Amazing. And you weren't the only Spoors girl to have a duel with Romanians today. Your sister Phoebe, of course, part of the women's 4 who won bronze, and they were battling away with the Romanians for the back end of their race as well. Did you get the chance to watch that race?
Oh, I did. And I think I ruined about 10 other people's media interviews in the media shoot because I was absolutely screaming for Phoebes. But I was so conscious of wrapping up my own interviews and getting myself in a place where I could yell my head off for her, because I really believed that they could also have a good race. And I feel the same about the whole New Zealand rowing team. We're all family, and I think we're heading into another couple of really exciting days. All our training partners are about to go next, and it's going to be cool.
So cool. All right, and just before you go, obviously a new mum now, your son Rupert, I believe. He's there with you, presumably.
Yes, he is. So Brooke and I have moved into the hotel, in the team hotel in Paris. So he's staying with my partner and my parents in an Airbnb, but he's here. He's been watching every day. Today was really hot for him. He needs to have a few ice blocks and calm down, but for an 18-month-old, he's had some pretty big days.
Oh, I remember those days as when my kids were about that age. Yeah, nothing like an ice block to calm somebody down on a hot day. Outstanding, Lucy. Yeah. Congratulations on the gold medal. Everybody back here is just utterly delighted with what you've achieved. More to come, I know, from the rowing team. Thanks so much for taking the time for a chat.
Thanks so much.
It's Lucy Spoors, gold medalist in the women's double sculls, along with Brooke Francis. Not long after that, of course, there was silver for the men's 4.
They're almost bow to bow now. The New Zealand crew, McLean, Ulrich, Murray and Macdonald. Can they run down the US? I think it's going to be just beyond them. The USA coming down to the line in first position. Gold goes to US. Silver, New Zealand.
Yeah, silver for the men's 4, comprising Ollie McLean, Logan Ulrich, Tom Murray and Matt Macdonald. I spoke to Matt Macdonald not long after they received their medals and asked how it felt around his neck.
It feels epic. It's heavy, super shiny. We're over the moon with how our race went and how overall the regatta went for us. We're extremely proud.
Pipped by the United States, who led from start to finish, but gee, you gave it a good go. Can you talk about the race? Can you take us through it from start to finish?
Yeah. The Americans were exceptional today. I don't think they put a foot wrong, and we sort of knew we were going to have our perfect race for it to be that close, or for it to be gold for us. And I think we did just about have 100% perfect race. And you're right, they did lead from start to finish, and we knew we needed to have a good start and get away quickly with them, which I think we did a decent job of. And then I think they sort of moved away slowly in that sort of second 500, and we then did a really good job of coming back up to them in the third 500. And then it was really exciting coming into the last 500. I think we drew pretty much level with them and thought we had a real shot at the gold. And we were just chasing the line the whole way. And I think, with that little buffer that they had built earlier on in the race, they were able to sort of cover our move. But we're extremely proud the way we raced and left everything out there. So, I think none of us have any regrets, and they were the top crew today.
Yeah, perfectly described. It's a tough class, isn't it? I mean, outside of the 8, it feels like the men's 4 is a really tough class. I think yours is just the 3rd podium finish in this class. Does it feel really competitive, this class?
Yeah, it does. I feel like the men's 4 is like, the F1 of rowing, to be fair, apart from the 8s, but they're more like a steam train, like the way the boat goes, the 4 is super light and flighty, and it's a real magic boat to row when you're up out of the water. So yeah, and I think that's reflected in the sort of level of rowing in that field. There was 6 crews lining up that could have won that race on the day. So to come away with silver, we're super stoked, and to be amongst GB and USA on the podium is really cool, because sort of the last 3 regattas, including this one, it's been the same podium, slightly different orders each time, but it's been a great competition racing against those guys, and we've built a bit of camaraderie over the last sort of 18 months or so since World Champs in Serbia. So yeah, all in all, it was a great day.
Yeah, not bad company to be in, that's for sure. Of course, you were part of the 8 that won in Tokyo 3 years ago with Tom Murray, Ollie and Logan at their first games. Did you have to look after the first timers, or did you all actually, was it all okay once you got out there?
Oh, no, it was all okay. Ollie and Logan are seasoned racers in their own right, so we had, everyone had total trust in each other's ability, and knew that we were going to go racing and perform really well, because that's sort of the strength of our crew. I'd say like a 2K race is really our bread and butter. We're kind of not the best lower stroke rate crew or over longer distances, but as soon as we get to open it up and go for a race, like that's where we really shine. So no, there was no sort of looking after the younger guys at all. They were rearing to go, and we were all on great form.
And by the time you guys crossed for your silver, of course, that was the complete set for New Zealand on the day, with gold in the women's double sculls, bronze in the women's 4. I'm not sure, how does it work, Matt? Can you watch those races? Were you aware of the results before you hit the water?
We were definitely aware of the women's double result. It was quite interesting timing, because the way the venue's set up, we were sort of on a couple floors above the racetrack, warming up on land on the erg. So we saw the women's double come down and saw them win. So that was massively a huge boost of motivation and confidence as we're just about to get on the water to see another Kiwi crew that we've been training alongside do the business and win. So yeah, like we got to see them do that, and then we were on the water in the warm-up area just adjacent to the course when the women's 4 came down, and I think we saw them with 500 metres to go, and they were neck and neck with Romania going to the last 500, so it was really all to play for the bronze at that point. And Romania is not necessarily the nation you want to come up against in a sprint.
No.
So I had full confidence in our girls, but I knew it was going to take an epic last 500. So when we got to the medal pontoon and saw their boat sitting there, that was when we realised that the women's 4 had got a medal too. So that was another win right there in that moment. So it was an epic sort of hour, 45 minutes kind of thing. It was a real high for the whole team.
Absolutely, and for everybody back here, I can tell you. And there's hopefully more to come, because do you get the opportunity now to stay on and support your countrymen and women who still have the opportunity to row for medals?
Yes, absolutely. We'll be there tomorrow and the next day to watch the rest of the New Zealand crews come down. And I think it's a unique situation to have some of the team finish a couple days before the others. There becomes a sense of momentum in the team when crews are going well and performing, because we all do the same training, we all do the same hours and have followed the same program. So as soon as you get the sense that one crew's going well, then the other crew goes well, and then another, there's a real confidence in the team and belief that what we've done is really going to work and pay out. So you can, step out onto the water knowing that beyond yourself, the whole team is really on form.
So good. You must be stoked, man. I mean, this must I know you got your gold from Tokyo, of course, but I mean, this must be special too. You sound very calm, but you must be euphoric, are you, in a certain sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely euphoric. Hasn't really sunk in yet, to be honest. But to do it in a different boat class and with a different group of guys, it's a whole different beast each campaign. So this one feels really special. I was one of the youngest guys in the 8, so I was really just sort of following the lead and doing the best I could in that boat. And Tokyo was a massive learning experience, and I just tried to apply what we had learned through that boat class to this, and it's served us really well. So yeah, absolutely over the moon.
Congratulations, Matt. Wonderful stuff from you, from Ollie, Logan and Tom as well, and the others who have picked up some precious metal today as well. May there be a bit more to come. Thanks for taking the time for a chat. Really appreciate it.
Cool. Thank you. No worries. Catch you later.
For more from Weekend Sport with Jason Pine, listen live to News Talk ZB weekends from midday or follow the podcast on iHeartRadio.